what's Missin Curfew? It's when you kind of play guilty, but you show up.
How nice is a green light on the road, though? No practice tomorrow, no plane, just go.
Scotty Upshaw in the clear, and he scores! Right in front, scores!
A few laughs, a little bit of fun, and obviously a lot of hockey talk.
You're listening to Missin Curfew.
Fellas, coming to you from Hall Pass Media, Newport Beach. It's Olbs, Updog, and Swish. And boys, we've had some serious technical issues. What's up, Updog?
How are we doing, boys? We're, a day fresh back from our trip to KC. In the studio, we've been here about 6 hours.
What time is it?
I don't know what time.
5:30 we got here. Jay Swish, what time did you get on the blower?
Yeah, boys, it's just after. It's 37 minutes past the 5 o'clock hour, as Jimmy Buffett would say, a.k.a. Jimmy Buffet. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So, fellas, we're grinding it out over here. But you know what? It's live now, and you know what? Fuck it. We just got to play our ball and try to make par the hard way.
Yeah, I guess it's fitting that it's the ESPN Frozen Frenzy or whatever the fuck it's called, because it's been a frenzy in here all day. Updog Max Pickham's ready to kill Kyle. Kyle's ready to kill him. Me and you aren't sure what to think. Jay Swish has been probably rubbed a couple. I went back in there, grabbed a whiskey. It's just been, this is the things you don't see.
You know what, though? In team sports, boys, as we know, Jay Swish, you take your guy, you rely on your teammates. It's nobody's fault, eh?
No.
It's nobody's fault. It's a 60-minute match out there. We've been here for 360 minutes.
Uppy and soccer.
I miss soccer. I missed it.
Yeah, it's always,
and now I get
like,
just,
when you're watching a film in the locker room, the video guy can't figure out the PC or something's a malfunction, and the coach is pissed at the video guy. The players are like, holy fuck, like what's going on? So that's what we're battling through right now, boys. Like, we're just going to watch, a couple of the breakouts. We'll get back out on the sheet. We're here doing it right now. So what's up, boys? How we doing? It's good to see your chins again, back from KC. How was the bird yesterday, Obes?
Hey, that's a great point by you real quick before we do the old KC recap. Remember the old fucking video guy that would come in? I just remember Nigel. Shout out to Nigel. He's the GOAT of video coaches now. What's he got? 3 cups? But he used to come in with torch. And this is old school before any of this stuff. I'm talking projector and whatever the fuck. And like, you could see him fumble fucking and starting to worry. And then all the boys would be like, oh, Nigel fell. Oh, no, boys. And torch like, fucking kidding me, Nigel. And then like, you just like got to go out. You got to go back to reset it. That's kind of what we were doing with.
The only good thing about a video coach fucking everything up is it's just dealing with the PK guys and the coaches. And eventually you're just like, fuck it, boys. We know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're going to pass it to Patty Kane. It's going to come through the middle of the Taves, back up to Seabrook, over to Keith. And then you're like, fuck it. Let's just go out and practice. We're a little different here. We're a little different here in the studio.
It's a prime example of you don't even...
Right? Totally. You don't need it.
Speaking of the frenzy, I took the Panthers. They're down 5-1. To the Wild. Updog, you took the Canadians. They're down 5-2 to the Rangers.
I threw them in a massive parlay just to shake it up. They were plus 200, but I do, you know what? I'm looking at this Boston Preds little warm-up here. Stammer's looking good. It's coming off his first goal as a Pred. They're looking for one.
He's wishing he was back in Tampa, AJ Swish. But, hey, listen, let's talk about KC. Thank you to DraftKings. Obviously, Jägermeister was unbelievable. Jay Swish, thanks to you. And obviously, we brought in the Heat Daddy from Hockey Nights in Scottsdale. But what'd you think about getting on the road with the boys? Unique crowd there at the KC Live, huh?
Yeah, first of all, we had to bring in the sidewinder, the old middle reliever in the Heat Daddy, because the bases were loaded. We needed a guy to get us out of a pinch, and that's exactly what he did. So a couple clicks for the Heat Daddy. Obviously, my boy over here, I think it was a good chance for you guys to meet him and just kind of see what he's all about. He's a funny bastard, as we know. But yeah, Obes, we were sitting there at KC Live, and, not exactly maybe the demographic Missin Curfew is probably used to, but it was cool to go on stage in front of the KC faithful, kind of just, play a little game of limbo.
And by the way, Robbie, a.k.a. the Heat Daddy, he was putting those Jägers back, I tell you. Those ice-cold shots of Jäger. He just kept coming back. Eventually, he had his shirt off and just the leather vest, which he rocked it pretty damn well. He actually fit right into the crowd we were in. But man, they were sliding. And then we went for a little barbecue to top off just a great two-day quick boys trip, Bella tour. Got some good barbecue in us, but putting those back, those sliding like that in that crowd, watching the game, KC just putting the fucking smackdown on the 49ers too. It was a great time. And shout out to our DK team, Ashton the girls, who show up again. They throw a great event for us. And then Jägermeister. I mean, what a crew, what a brand. It's nice to promote such a good brand.
Damn, that's cool.
Damn,
the Jäger, there was no shortage of Jäger. The 3 things I took away, or a few things I guess I wrote down here. First of all, shout out to the Blue Line Bar, which Jay Swish, you tracked it down. Updog, you went over and set the tone. But Jay Swiss, there is a hockey bar in Kansas City. And I'll tell you what, I liked it. Every hockey game on, every college football game on. The waitress is unbelievable. I left there with a real nice glow going, a real nice glow.
Yeah, no shortage of Jameson shots at that bar. And shout out to the owner of that bar, Obes. I'm forgetting his name, but a big St. Louis Blues fan. Even had a pigeon like myself, able to sign a kind of like a plaque for the Blues plaque. Uppy was able to sign that. But the one thing I want to say, Obes, just going back to, you were removed from the action a little bit after when we went to the barbecue place. But the one thing, Ups, is you go from about 8 to 10 Jaeger shots right into some Kansas City barbecue. I mean, break out the fucking Pepto, brother, because holy shit, I got in my bed that night and I had to like roll over on my side because I thought I was going to have a jammer. I was like, I got a piece of pulled pork lodged in the lining of my heart right now. Like, this isn't perfect.
I went one step ahead of you. I hit up this.
I heard you order like a truck. I heard you.
Yeah, I ordered a truck, but then I got some Postmates of this really high-end ice cream shop there. And they came with the full, I ordered 2 pints, 2 different ones. One peanut butter and toffee or something. The next one was Oreo. Just
did you have to go down and let them up the elevator?
Oh, they dropped it right off. I mean, I was buck diddy already in my bed. But like you say, I was just hunkered in there, Obes. I deserved it. I put on a good shift. And we put on a good shift.
We all did.
But great hotel.
Great hotel.
I mean, odd city. I mean, it didn't help that there was a Comic-Con going on across the street. There was a bunch of just weirdos, right, walking through the lobby. I mean, Kyle, well, you pointed out, but what was that? They were like,
it was like the Comic-Con like festival, man. They were everywhere. Anime.
No,
yeah,
it's called anime or something. It's like
it was
a
borderline freak show. What it was,
Johnny's Drama.
It was odd.
Weird Comic-Con in San Diego. Victory!
Yeah.
He's like, actually, Vinny Chase goes, actually, I think down here, I'm Johnny's brothers, boys. Eh? And remember those like sex girls they had there, the porn girls that they sent to the guy's room to get the, they gave him a bad critic and they sent you remember that AJ Swish Entourage?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, it's, I remember that episode. Obi, the last thing I want to say is for all the ladies out there, I don't know how many listeners, the Missin Curfew faithful comes with the ladies department, but if you're a married lady, just, there's one place you don't have to worry about your man. It's in KC because as a single guy, I didn't see a ton of trim out there. You know what I mean? In terms of the old, but you know what? Maybe we were hunting the wrong spots. I was a guy that went down swinging this weekend. So, just want to give the fellas the update on that.
Yeah. I want to say another thing about KC Live. Obviously we're on the Missouri side. Weed is legal there. I've never seen so many fucking doobies and blunts and shit. I walked by people a couple times getting to the stage and getting back. And I was like, the guy fucking doobie ups was that long. I'm like, wow, this is just stunk like weed. And for me, the team dinner. So we went to the Blue Line, caught a nice buzz there, canceled dinner. Updog then 45 minutes later says, no, we need a team dinner. I'm going home to put on a sick leather jacket. Me and Jay Swish go from the Blue Line to Capitol Grill. Me, you boys there. The One Rock Old Fashioned wasn't exactly crispy rice spicy tuna National League, but it didn't stop me from drinking. It felt like 12 of them, Jay Swish, I banged down.
Yeah, I think it was close to the old Baker's dozen because every time that waiter came by in the bar, we were sitting at that high top watching some games, it was one more. And like you said, Obes, at that Capitol Grill, it was kind of like almost like a dirty One Rock Old Fashioned. It had something in there. I don't know if it was not too much cherry juice or a little too much bitters, but whatever they were putting in there, the next day I was definitely feeling it. I needed an Irish coffee with you as soon as I woke up.
Yeah, the boys we're not scrambling, but we were all hurting a little bit in the morning. And then on the team text, my weed pen was taking a lot of chirp. And Jay Swish blamed the weed pen for giving him the spins. You were blaming him for certain things. A lot of people were giving some hate to the weed pen when I was just like thinking that weed pen really changed the whole fucking night. I thought it really took me to fucking 6 to midnight, as they would say back in Saving Sarah Marshall. I was ready to rock, baby.
That weed pen cost me, it might have been the mushroom chocolates too, but it cost me,
might have been
it cost me losing my wallet. And me focusing on trying to find it for the rest of the trip with that air tag, by the way. Which, mind you, you lose your phone, it's one thing. You can find it. You can call it. You can put a cash reward on it. You do the whole thing on the Find My iPhone. When you got just an air tag and you notice someone's driving your wallet around all the city of KC and then they try to use it at Starbucks and then you're like, hey, what the fuck, man? And then you finally go search for it with my boy Kyle on the side of a highway near the airport, only to find out after 10 minutes of searching with your Uber driver that they had tossed the air tag. They tossed it out. Who does that?
Fella, that was half an hour.
That was a half hour, right? Well, that's why I tipped the Uber driver. He was a great guy. But
hold on, you had this poor Uber driver just hustle around trying to find.
No. I took him right to the spot. and then I had him parked side of the road. And I jumped a fence on the major highway. I jumped a fence, and Kyle's like, "Is it down there?" I'm like, "I don't know. It's in this vicinity, right?" And sure as shit, I'm up the world, fine time, excellent. Finally, I'm like, "Fuck! I'm not looking for the wall. I'm gonna look for the little white thing. It's a needle in a haystack in the grass." And I find the fucking air tag, and I'm on my way to the airport. I got no fucking credit cards, no ID, but I got the clear, thankfully. And anyway, I'm just like, who died?
Whoever stole your wallet,
Who robbed me? You got 3 of my credit cards.
due to check to see if there was an AirPod in there or whatever the fuck those things.
Air tag.
So that wasn't their first time robbing somebody.
No.
So I mean, obviously, there's been some poor fuck that these people have robbed.
But they were out in the boonies because we were out in the sticks, as we call it in Kansas, right? Sticks.
We were downtown Kansas City, but I mean downtown Kansas City, it still kind of stinks.
And
But
we made it out of there alive, boys.
you were hating on the weed pen a little bit. You just took too big of a pop for what happened there, fella. You got us. Remember the guy that got us punted out of the restaurant? He's going to call the cops on us.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I might have, touched that thing in that establishment and kind of went with the inside chimney approach. So maybe I'll eat that one as a, maybe a -1. Forgot to box my guy out. But yeah, I took a puff of that thing. And I mean, I had to run out of there at that last spot we were at. Probably, just shy of 1 a.m. because other than that, I was probably going Frank the Tank in terms of going streaking right through the quad into the gymnasium. And who knows what would have happened. So I, as a good veteran, just kind of removed myself from the action. I went outside and I said, fuck. I don't think I'm going to puke here. If I'm going to have to puke, I'm going to go back home. So, yeah, it could have been the old fashions. It could have been the 8 tequilas before that. It could have been Prongs' whiskey we're drinking. I mean, or maybe even the Rouge, too. Boys, we were all over the place. Talk about just touching them all.
The red wine was flowing.
Oh, yeah.
The red wine was flowing.
First fella to our dinner. It came as order.
I woke up. I was like, fuck, I wonder how much that. First, I thought, man, I need a fucking tic-tac here to take care of this headache. And then I'm like, I wonder how much that dinner was. Not that we need to say how much it was, but I knew how many old fashions I was drinking. I was excited to drink them with Swish. I know how you like to get the red wine flowing. I was slugging that too. I knew I knew we had a couple steak orders. It had a little feel to a rookie dinner at some point, right?
Sure it did, yeah. And just to touch on your comment there, I'm going to puke, but it's not going to be today.
Yeah, I'm more, but it ain't going to be. Listen, I thought the bars we went to, from what I can remember, were kind of cool.
Hell yeah.
Right? Like, obviously, listen, this is no disrespect to the Midwest, right? I mean, I'm from fucking Port Hope, Ontario, Canada. Who am I to chirp anyone? But like, it obviously wasn't a New York or an LA or Dallas, whatever kind of crowd, but like, it was cool bars, kind of an old feel in the city from what I remember. And it seemed like everyone was having a pretty good time. Maybe I was just that drunk that I thought everyone was having as good time as me, but I was having a hell of a time.
No, listen, I got him here on the old Google Maps here. Blue Line Hockey Bar was a hockey bar.
Yeah.
The Mercury Bar was the one you almost got in a tilt in.
Yeah.
That was a good spot, but they wouldn't let us out. Well, they kicked us out of there, and you were kind of like, for what?
Yeah.
And the guy's like, well, you guys, no smoking in here. I told you once, and then you're too drunk. He didn't want to let you drink. And then you took my cocktail and you started to crush it. And I go, I didn't give it to him. I actually want that thing. It's a brand new old fashioned.
See, that's what I thought he took yours too.
No, he's like, no, you just gave it to him. I'm like, I actually didn't. He just took it. But fuck, I go, he's not that pinned, And then,
no.
But anyway,
he should see me 2 hours later. If he thought I was pinned, then he should have saw me.
But this is the bar, and I only know this because I had a chat with a cop on my stolen wallet that I talked to him, and I said, he's like, where were you guys? I said, Green Lady Lounge. And he's like, fuck, they say that place is haunted. They say that there's been moments in there where people, and anyone from Kansas, you might know this story, but when people are in there, they get faint descriptions of a gangster ghost, like a badass, like New York gangster in there. And it's been there forever, but they say that bar is haunted.
You think he stole your wallet?
Fuck, it went somewhere.
Jay Swish.
No, I was there. Yeah, I was there. I mean, the last song I remember, because there was live music in there, Obes, was one of my favorite songs of all time is Stay Together by Al Green out of Detroit, out of Motown. And I remember hearing that song, I'm so in love with you. So he was singing that, and then it was Good Night, Jim Kite, and the lights were on, and nobody was home, and I said, you know what? I got to remove myself here, boys. My fight strap is on, my chin is tucked, but Swish, it's time to go home. Otherwise, you're going to puke in here as a 31-year-old.
Yeah, it was a great first trip. Great trip. It's great. Thank you again to DraftKings. Everyone at Jägermeister is unbelievable. Kansas City, thanks for having us. I got to give a shout out to the Kansas City Mavericks. Easy come, hard to leave league, as Jay Swiss would say. I was going back to take one of my 12 pisses I took all day, and I bumped into their head coach. Listen to this beauty. Tad O'Head. Tad O'Had.
Good Irishman, but
Tad O'Had. I'm like, hey, fuck, so what's up, Tad? These guys, Jack. He's like, hey, Obes, my head coach, team here, boys, love the podcast. We just started the season. I'm like, we were actually at dinner last night, EJ Swish Up Dog, and wondered if there was an East Coast League team here. So shout out to the Kansas City Mavericks. Tad O'Had, good Irish lad. And we wish him good luck, Jay Swish, because there is a squad there, fella.
Easy come, hard to leave. I believe it, like you said, it's a Kansas City Mavericks. I think they just play outside of downtown, if I'm not mistaken. Still on the Missouri side, but Tad O'Had, that just sounds, and I say this with all due respect, it just sounds like a minor league hockey coach, doesn't it? Just like a good guy, probably a nail gun himself on and off the ice, and just lead those troops, probably just, struggling along all across America in the old bone rattler, a.k.a. the bus, and just picking up points and Subway subs and just for the love of the game, right?
Definitely used the wooden stick and took a few laps.
I'll tell you what, this guy doesn't miss fucking upper body day. I'm telling you, boys, you should have saw him. I should have brought him up. I don't even know why I did. I was fucking whatever. And Jack, big shoulders, big neck on it. Like he looked more like a UFC fighter than really a head coach. Like I'm telling you right now, there's not many coaches in the old coast that are challenging him, like banging on the glass, trying to get it to him. But you talk about the old bone rattler, the sprinter. Shout out to the Missin Curfew sprinter, Jeff Gill. Appreciate letting us use it. It doesn't rattle like she used to. She's running smooth now. She's running smooth.
There's been a lot of love in there.
Yeah, because I took her to a Honda Fest up, dog, and it was fucking the bone rattler.
Really? Yeah. That's okay. No, we've been tightening it up. I mean, Al's been on top of it. You've been on. I mean, you drove the thing last week.
First drive.
Yeah, it's big, eh? Big ass on her.
Have to like weave her in and out of the fucking Cali traffic. You just got to stay in the right lane and just kind of 10 and 2 and trust it.
Yeah, totally.
So thank you, DraftKings. Hey, Pitt, we will be coming to Pitt November 20th to 23rd. Going to a game against the Pittsburgh Penguins versus the Winnipeg Jets and watching Thursday Night Football, Steelers-Browns. Can't remember the bar, but we'll be there. Last little thing in the rundown here, boys. The World Series is upon us. Yankees, Doyers. I took the Yankees at plus 120. But I've been watching these playoffs, boys, and we all love the National League for many reasons. And, you score a big goal, get a big hit, you get in a fight. Feels good. How good would it feel for it to be Juan Soto or Stanton right now, or Judge, Ohtani, hitting these fucking no-doubters and just fucking pimping them and just fucking trotting around the bases and stopping? Like, that's hitting a home run in the World Series or ALCS or playoffs has got to be up there with one of the sickest things ever, right?
Yeah, and we got, you just named them, but we got 4 of the best home run hitters in baseball in the last decade up to bat in what's going to be one of the best series, I think, of all time. And I don't know if you read this today, but did you see the Ohtani, the bonus he got for the final? He got like $2.5 million for making the.
Does he need any more money?
No, it was just the bet. It was just the bet he put on himself before the season started. He had a huge future on DraftKings, so he had a $2.5 million. That's pretty good.
Does he get to split that with this guy that's in the clink? Or whatever happened? It's curious. Whatever happened to his buddy there? Is he in the clink back in Japan or what?
I don't know what happened to those guys. It's probably him and Parlay Pinto's bookie are probably hanging out, probably shacked up somewhere off the coast of the Caribbean, just collecting their checks, and it's, maybe a little payoff money. Hey, fellas, you got to stay quiet over here. But you mentioned this series, Obi, and Juan Soto with that 3-run dinger in Game 5 to send the Yankees to the World Series. And, I mean, this series is, obviously it's a little bit of a coast-to-coast. Sammy Adams, back in the day, a white rapper, had a song called Coast-to-Coast. And it kind of just reminds me of what you guys talk about here in terms of the Brinks trucks. Like, this series, there's these salary caps on these teams. There's no shortage of dough. It's the battle of the Brinks trucks. Both teams, 1 and 3, I believe, in payrolls respectively. Over $300 million are dishing out in cash. So I'm excited for this series. And the one cool thing I saw, too, was just dating back to, remember that old, I believe, ALCS or ALDS, whatever it was, 20 years ago between the Yankees and the Bo Sox. Boston was down 3-0, and they had,
sure, the jungle.
Yeah, and then they had that footage of Kevin Millar sitting at first base, and he was getting interviewed by one of the local reporters there. And I believe it was that Shaughnessy guy. And he was just like, don't let us win tonight. Don't let us win tonight. And sure as shit, they won that night. He's like, we got Pedro tomorrow, Shill Game 6, and then anything can happen. And then they ended up doing it, man. It's just those highlights are just goosebumps every time you see it.
No, it is. And someone said, should there be a salary cap in Major League Baseball because we got... No, you don't want you don't think the commissioner of the MLB, what's his name, Rob? You know his name, the commissioner of the Major League?
No, I don't.
You don't think he's licking his chops right now having the Dodgers, the Doyers versus the Yankees? I mean, every fan who doesn't even like baseball is going to be watching this. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're so right. And just to touch on baseball players, like there's a stigma that baseball players aren't as tough as like the other athletes, the hockey guys. But what Freddie Freeman's done in this playoff, he buckles his ankle last round, and then to see him step up and just fucking play ball, be out there, fucking run. There's the one where he ran around the bases and gets to home and jumps in Mookie's arms. It's just been these guys are at war knowing what's at stake, and there's a lot on the line because this will go down as one of the best MLB finals in a long, long time.
Jay Swish, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I guess I'm going to. I see you wear the Franklin gloves. If you're playing game 1 of the World Series, you're bad. And I'll probably put you in the 2-hole, right? Maybe 2 or 3-hole. Yep. You got a walk-up song that you can pick right now that you're walking up to there if you're playing the World Series for, let's say, the Yankees at the Bronx, just walking up. Now to the bat. Jay, Swish.
Yeah, I used to love back in the day. He's a nerd. He's an absolute nerd biscuit, as you would say, Obi. But Joe Mauer for the Minnesota Twins used to come out to T.I., Whatever You Like. What a banger that song is. You're walking out, Stacks on deck, Patron on ice. I would love to come out to that song. I'm a lefty, southpaw. I'm going to get in there. And back in the day, I was a choke and poke hitter. I was a slap hitter. I was pretty fast. So I would try to hit that thing maybe just onto the left side of the infield or right over the third baseman or even shortstop's head. Maybe into the middle of the pocket, but, I was a slap hitter as a lefty, and I would get on base, and you bet your ass if I'm getting on base, I'm fucking stealing a bag every time. So, yeah, I think it would be T.I., Whatever You Like.
That song is such a...
I think I go Lose Yourself, Eminem, I think.
Oh.
Just come...
Lose yourself in the moment.
Just come out and fucking swing like I was during that
Obes...
I think I might go fucking My Wearing Jacket Victory something. I don't know.
Just chin tuck.
I would love to pimp one. I would just love to pimp one in the World Series. So hey, let's take in the Yanks. Plus 120. We'll be right back at Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. DraftKings, presented by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours, fella. Up dog, NFL football. I had the Falcons, the Seahawks again, man. I'm telling you what, this Seahawks team, anytime I bet them at home against the Giants, lose. Take the Falcons, they win. So I lost those games, and then I took the Kansas City Chiefs, and I also had the Detroit Lions as well as you, which was maybe the game of the century. But the Chiefs going in and beating the Niners, I thought was unbelievable. Anything else you tickled over the weekend?
Well, yeah, I will just say, I think that was my Saturday, non-hockey lock of the night for my DraftKings bet was that Lions on the road against an undefeated Minnesota team that's been playing unbelievable. And then thankfully for fucking coming into Monday night, because I needed it, and the Ravens just, 5 touchdowns from Lamar. He's absolutely threading. You're a running back.
Derrick Henry.
Fuck. What a guy.
Yeah.
Guy runs like a fucking
King Derrick.
I will say, Al, I was up $500 on Al on the road trip. I took the Jets. Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. I just thought going into Pitt, they were favored going into play Russell Wilson of all people, and Russell Wilson does what he does. He goes for 2 touchdowns, Russ is for 1. Good for him. I'm actually happy for him. I'm not a big... Neither are you.
No, it just seems like everything Mike Tomlin touches turns to fucking hope.
No.
Right? I was scared to even bet that game because of Russell Wilson. He went out there and just had a day.
He had a day. And then, how did your fantasy go? Was it your fantasy? How'd your fantasy go?
I got a wagon.
Did you
get a wagon? I smoked flowers. Beat him 130 points to 92 or something.
Well, I won on the very last day. I had Mark Andrews. He went for 18 points. He hadn't been throwing a ball all season long, actually. Lamar Jackson's been spreading it out to what I think they might have 5 tight ends. I don't even know. But finally, Mark Andrews gets 2 touchdowns. A big game. So I took down Schenner. Booyah. But how about you there, Schmaltzy? Any you fire any bets?
Some games this weekend?
Yeah, I took that. I hopped on the bandwagon with the Chiefs. It's crazy that they were dogs even going into San Francisco. It's just like that team is a machine. Their defense is so good. They're so well coached. And as we know, as Patty Mahomes, he's just the ultimate facilitator and just winner. He kind of just needs to do what he has to do in terms of getting the ball, just being that game manager, that, just being that wily veteran that he is, especially only at 28 or 27 years old he is. But the other game I touched was my Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. Obviously, they took the screws to Houston. That was a game, it was tight coming down to the end. I didn't end up, making out on that game because I think it was -2.5, I believe it was. So I ended up losing that game, but as long as they win, I'm okay. The one question I wanted to ask you guys was, is Aaron Rodgers washed? I mean, as a guy that's a former Packer guy, is Aaron Rodgers, are we seeing the kind of the last of him, or is he going to have hopefully a better second half to the season here, fellas? What are we thinking on the A-Rod front? Now he's got Devontae Adams. Obviously, they have familiarity going back to the days in GB, but I'm kind of worried about Aaron Rodgers in New York.
Well, he just can't move anymore. And from a guy who knows all about, I'm not that I was ever as good as Aaron Rodgers. He's a 4-time MVP, I believe, but he just can't move.
Yeah.
Like, he just can't move. He looks, even when he runs in off the field. I think if we give Devontae Adams some more time, maybe that will help. But, like, he's got weapons, man. I know Adams just got there. That Garrett Wilson, is that his name? Garrett Wilson? I don't know if it's
Yeah.
He's a weapon. Yep. Breece Hall's open. They got Mike Williams, the old veteran that used to be with the San Diego LA Chargers. I mean, it's not like he's fucking throwing nobody up, dog. And another thing, he needs to shut the fuck up in his his press conferences are getting to the point where it's like, enough, buddy. You just don't even talk to me. Like, and I used to love Rodgers, but now it's getting to the point where I'm like, dude, you sound like an idiot.
I will just say this. He missed all entire last season. This is still his fresh new look with a new team. He's really only been in 6 games in the last 24 months. So maybe there's a chance that he pulls some sort of ayahuasca magic, boils the soup, puts the mushrooms in there, drinks a little bit up, trips his balls off, and comes back and has what could be maybe an epic second half. You're right. You just mentioned he's got the tools. They got a running game. They've got the receivers now. He's got weapons. Can he get the O-line that he needs to be able to sit back as a 41-year-old guy and fucking chuck bombs? We'll see. But he's got the tools. It's just, can he get his game going?
Jay Swish, here's their schedule. They got the fucking Lonely Pats. They're going into New England next weekend. That should be a win. Then they got the Texans coming to MetLife. Then they go to Arizona. Colts coming there. Seahawks at MetLife. Jets, Dolphins. Jets, Jaguars. Rams, Jets, and then they finish off against the Bills and Dolphins. So right now they're 2-5. To get in, you got to go what? 10-7?
I would say at least probably, 10-7. And right. And even just going back to Updog's point, like how many oil changes can you go for in a calendar year? I mean, do you need another ayahuasca reset? Have you kind of tapped out on that magic, or do you need to get to a different department store within your head to maybe see the ball on a different side of things? Like, what's going on, boys? I don't know how many times you can go back to the ayahuasca before you're totally off the screws.
What else you got in that tickle chest of yours there, bud? Try another fucking department. Listen,
I'm saying.
With Rodgers, like, got his Super Bowl, probably wishes he had a few more. I give him credit for coming back, and he's a warrior, he's a competitor. He's going to finish out the season until they're probably mathematically eliminated. But if he doesn't get them in, like, just hang him up.
Oh, yeah.
Go live your best life. Go live in Baker's Bay or wherever the fuck you want to live and play golf. And, like, enough's enough. Like, how many times do you want to go back out there and struggle when you were the 4-time MVP? Like,
he's just putting himself in the wrong position. You want to be going on your boy Pat McAfee's show as a guy that's not having to answer to why you lost a game. You've been there, you've done that. You're a Hall of Fame player. You're a top 5 quarterback in our century as guys watching this, NFL. You'll be a legend. You won a fucking Super Bowl in Green Bay. How many guys have got to say that? Fucking, Lance.
He's a Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer, totally. Absolute legend.
So you're right. You touch on it, shut the fuck up, go win some football. You touch on it, maybe hit a different department store, maybe find the coats on the rack instead of, the Versace. And just fucking go out, play some ball. But I think what you mentioned, that's not a tough schedule coming in, I don't think.
What do you think if, like, he just said, listen, we got a lot of moving pieces. I'm coming off Achilles. I'm no spring chicken, but we're not dead in the water here, opposed to just being like, we got to not listen to you guys, the media. And if anything, I think the media has actually had his back throughout the course of this thing. And then being like, he did say he has to play better, but I just wish you would handle it more like, listen, I was out all last year. I'm giving everything I have. I will continue giving everything I have. I'm not the same Aaron Rodgers, but I'm still good enough to win this league, in my opinion. Time will tell. Instead of being like, he's just really arrogant.
No, you're right. And listen, Rex Ryan said it best. Sorry, Schwissy. Rex Ryan came out and said, I think it was before the Monday Nighter, was like, you got to talk about the Jets, and you're on the Jets. The Jets are your team. Present the Jets first. You're presenting like me, and this guy didn't do this, and this guy. You're a team. Be a Jet. Right? And it's like almost as in like it's an honor to be a Jet. And I don't fucking like the Jets. Personally, I don't care.
I like the guy that wears the hard helmet and goes, Jets. Jets.
Oh, yeah.
Jets. I like that guy. I like to get drunk with him.
Yeah,
But
I guess it's like, at some point you just take a little ownership and you fucking don't bury anyone. You take what has coming to you, but you got to go win a fucking football game, and that's number one.
Yeah, I just think you guys, I'm going to reiterate what you're kind of saying is he just seems like he gets on there and he just thinks he's the world's biggest beauty when he's not at that point anymore right now. It's like he's too cool for school in a setting where you got to roll your sleeves up and kind of take your humble pie, take it on the chin, as I would say, and just get your team more acclimated to winning football. Less is more right now, A-Rod. You don't need to go on Pat McAfee and kind of showboat and kind of do these things where you're putting yourself out there in a me situation where it's like, I think he needs to take more ownership, and I think he needs to show these younger players that he is the leader of this team, and right now, it's unacceptable.
who's he whacking right now? He got a girlfriend.
I hope.
Like, maybe he's just doing so much damage off the field that I should just shut the fuck up. Maybe he's just going into Manhattan every night and leaving his legs in the city. Is that what he's doing?
One would think so.
Is he single?
One smart guy with a half a brain would think that Aaron Rodgers and his game's pretty tight off the field.
Yeah, you would hope. I mean, he's made what,
so
$300 million, maybe more.
Where's he living, boys? Has he got a penthouse in Tribeca? Where's he at? He's got to be somewhere in Manhattan, no?
Rodgers, right? Tribeca, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'd be right on Tribeca, right on that west side, so I can overlook the dirty Hudson. I can see Hoboken over there and say, you know what, life's pretty good on this side, fellas. And then I'd be going into just Midtown, West Village, the old circuit, Obi. So yeah, for sure. If I was a 40-year-old guy with 400 bananas or whatever he has, and you're single, I mean, you're in a Tribeca penthouse, one of those places, Obi, where you go into the parking garage and you put your car in that elevator and actually just goes up to your place. Like that's how you know you're living right.
Yeah.
He's got a $10 million house in New Jersey.
$10 million pad in New Jersey. How's it tax on up, Joel? How's the tax on $10 million shack in Jersey?
fuck, it's probably not as much as California.
Jersey, I think, might be worse than California.
Is it?
Or it's like, wow, there's no worse when you get to the 58% or whatever the fuck it is. But
Yeah.
10,
I know his taxes. If he's claiming taxes in there, he's getting sting with like a 54. Yeah. Same as for those rich guys not paying tax.
I probably should be chirping Aaron Rodgers about anything, so I'll just shut the fuck up about that. But now that we're on quarterbacks, before we move on here, Tua. Listen, everyone keeps telling. I know, boys. Awful concussion. I get it. Awful concussions, right? Like, and the most important thing is off the field longevity. And I don't know if he has a family, he will someday, and all that. But let's talk sports. Let's talk fucking football, hockey. You tell me this guy, you got to give him another chance to get back out there, right? Like, you got to give him another chance to get back out there. Like, you think he's just going to retire? You're just going to be like, hey, you're done? I just can't think, like, unless a doctor pulls him aside and was like, listen, buddy, you get one more concussion, you're going to get severe brain damage, then you might have to sit back and think. But, like, I don't know. I want to see him get back out there. A lot of people don't. I guess I'm asking, do you want to see him? I want to see Tua get back out there.
I would show him previous guys that have had massive concussions like him in a short period of time, and maybe the trajectory of their post NFL lives or their current lives. And I would just say, these are the risks. You've had 4 concussions in, 18 months to where you're blacked out doing the funky chicken on the fucking field. Like, his arms are fucking stuck up. Those are bad concussions.
Yeah.
And then we don't know because we're not there, but his team, seeing how they reacted at the last one, you kind of have to understand that this team has seen him in his darkest of days, and that they probably understand what's at stake and how they care for their brother more than us sitting on this. Although we are athletes and we've played through injury, and what you're just saying is these games are tough, and you shouldn't take away, if a guy wants to get back out there, which he obviously does, you shouldn't take that away from us. And I'm about that, Obes.
I'm going to say this. Sorry to cut you off, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. Sorry, but yeah, they've been back concussions. You look like a guy, Troy Aikman. Go back to Troy Aikman's career. This guy got fucking concussed left, right, and center. Like, there was more big hits back then. I think when you see a concussion now, it's like, oh my God. And now it's the same guy up, dog. But we know concussions are part of the game. Like, we've all had concussions here. Like, it's just like, I think to say this guy, like, I've heard people on TV say he shouldn't be playing. This is outrageous for him to be even thinking about coming back. You're not an athlete. You don't know what it's like. We know when we sign up for fucking contact sports. Swish, I'll turn it over to you. We know what we sign up for. We risk the chance of getting a concussion.
Yeah, and I just think whatever decision he makes, well, he should have all the pros and cons laid out. He should block out all the noise in terms of the media telling him what to do, and he should gather in a family setting around a round table and just talk it out. what do you want to do? You're a young man. I know the risk of what could happen, but say you go back in the game, Obi, and you feel 100%, you start ramping up your training, and you make the decision of, okay, you know what? I want to play again. And say, hey, maybe he doesn't get hit hard again like that ever. Who's to say that couldn't happen either? So I just think you have to go into this situation and just block out all the noise, talk to medical experts you trust, probably get more than one opinion at least, probably 2 or 3, and then from there make a calculated decision as a young man what you want to do moving forward, because at the end of the day, this guy loves playing football. This is his life, man. And if you take that away from him, what are the side effects of that too? So I just think there's a lot of different things you got to weigh, and ultimately, at the end of the day, you just got to make the best decision for yourself, know what could happen, and go from there.
Flag football. It's coming to Olympics, I think, in a couple of years. I think he should just focus on flag football. And I think I don't think they pay quite as good for the NFL. Eh? I think for sure, but fuck, I don't know. I think your both takes are great on this, Schwizzy. I think it's great that you say like he should, listen to the experts, and I'm sure he has. In fact, the NFL is going to make sure he does, because they want to, if this guy ends up really getting hurt moving forward, everyone's going to blame the NFL for letting him get back. We know what, we know that that's the case. But I think this guy is he's at a spot where he has a crossroads. It's like, I have a chance to get back and play, and maybe I learn to take hits. He doesn't know how to take. That's what I was going to say. Maybe he learns eventually how to take that hit or go down properly instead of, and protecting himself a little more, and he can play 10 more years. All I'm saying is at 25 years old, or however, he might be younger than that, he has fucking 60 years of his life ahead of himself, and he just hopefully he makes the right decision and learn. Yeah, but 60 years ahead of himself, you said on this podcast and say all the time you'd give anything to play another game. Yeah, I know. So for him to retire when he's in his prime,
right?
But what you're saying, up dog, and this is what I would say to him if I knew him or I was his teammate. Watch Tom Brady near the end of his career. Get the ball out of your hands. Don't run the fucking thing, and don't put yourself, because it's on him a little bit to not put himself in that position anymore. Exactly. You know what I mean, Jay Swish? It's on him now to be smart.
Well, I mean, the last hit he took, he dove head first. And he wore that one. It's like, why don't you just get down in a meaningless game at that point, too? They were down like 20 points or whatever it was, and he's diving head first to try to get a first down, and all of a sudden he eats that shoulder of DeMar Hamlin or whatever it was, a chicken wing. It's like, you could prevent that so easily if you're just a little bit smarter about it, right? Like, I don't know, man. I just think, like, there's a way for him to play football, and clearly the way he's playing right now is not working. At the same time, he's had some bad luck, so we'll see where this goes, boys. I don't know. To me, I think it's pretty clear that he's coming back, right? Like from all we've gathered, like he's going to start practicing here. It seems like he wants to play. I don't know.
Don't put yourself in the trolley tracks against Trouba. Hey, watch out for the chin. Watch out.
I mean, that was a steady case of going chin first and not knowing the repercussions, and all of a sudden, DeMar Hamlin comes at you like a cigarette machine, and fuck. I mean, that guy's got to make a living too, boys, right? You can't be putting yourself in that position.
No, and I wish him nothing but the best. And
we all do.
So does there. Something I want to talk to you guys about, and this is all in our DraftKings bet segment, by the way. We got a little off topic, but that's okay. I want to say a bet that I never thought I would ever make as long as I was doing this podcast was betting the Anaheim Ducks going into Colorado. I took a puck line, even money, getting a goal and a half. They ended up losing the fucking game, but it was a bet that I never, ever thought I would make while I was doing this. And I want to say this young Russian kid, help me with his name here, Pavel Minchkov. Is that how I say it, Swish?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
As a prospect, first rounder. I was 8th rounder. If you could pull this game film of what he put on display at Ball Arena for 60 minutes, it was one of the worst things I've ever seen anybody put on film. For two periods, last 2 periods, the Ducks did not touch the biscuit. Dostal, I'm going to get to and get this guy a beer. But this guy, I put a lot of bad tape out there, fellas. But if we could pull this up from the Ducks, it was one of the worst.
Ducks video guy, maybe let's get some clips.
It was fucking. It was terrible, boys. I mean, it was bad. But I won my bet. I will never make that bet again as long as I live, because I didn't deserve to get it. If it wasn't for Dostal, I was done.
But that's almost like just putting your abs on the milk carton, which might have.
Yeah, they're starting to come back.
They are. They got it again tonight. This Frozen Frenzy. They're in Seattle. They need to get a couple. They need to get her going. They need to get her going.
Boys, Missin Curfew. Dog of the week here, boys. It's football again. It's shout out to our boy Ethan Garbers. Shout out Grant Garbers. One of me and Uppy's really good buddies. He's a great kid. Started quarterback for UCLA. Been a tough year for him, but this kid has battled. He went into LSU and played unbelievable. Played Oregon. Played unbelievable, got hurt. Took a couple weeks off, came back. He's the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. 5 touchdowns versus Rutgers. Ethan Garbers, you fucking beauty. He's absolute stick, Jay Swish. He hits at 340 yards. Good for you, buddy. You're my Missin Curfew Dog of the Week up dog. He's a great kid.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say is he's got game, Swish. He hits his driver. It's mint, long, fluid backswing. If he only had a short game like his old man, because his old man can putt.
Why? He's just got to drink the tequila.
Yeah, he sure does. But no, this is great. And you touched on it. UCLA stepping up and playing in Big Ten. Like these are big boys that are chasing him down. And, and just shout out to his O-line for sticking up for him. But 32 for 38, 400 yards almost. That's a career game right there. Happy for him.
Yeah, he needed it. Anyone else got a Dog of the Week, boys?
Yeah, I got a couple here, and I just want to mention, boys, the long hitter, the Lamb you mentioned, he is off the tee, but it's not how you drive, it's how you arrive, and you got to show up in style. So let's put that at bay first. But my Dog of the Week, I hate to do this, but I am going to put the Born Again version up for my Dog of the Week. That is Russell the Muscle Wilson, home dog, beats the brakes off the goddamn Jets, 37-15. He was 16 for 29, 264, 2 TDs. Again, not a huge fan of this guy, but you know what? Anytime you show up as a veteran, kind of take your medicine at the start of the year, you get your chance and you capitalize. That, boys, is my Dog of the Week.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't like Russell Wilson, and the reason I don't like Russell Wilson was years ago. Well, I didn't like the way he played for Denver, but we were at McKenna in Maui, and he had security walking around him at a discovery project. I'm like, easy, Russell. Like, are you worried Adam Sandler's going to beat you up, or what are you worried here, bud? Jeff Bezos might grab you, or what?
Chick. It's her, what's her name?
I don't even know. I know her name, but
that's why. He's like, he doesn't give a fuck, does he?
You can't protect your chick at fucking McKenna, or what?
Well, I think it just he has no say in the matter. That's probably what's going on, right?
Such is Mary J. Such is Mary J. You know what he's saying. But listen, I wanted to give him some props to you, Jay Swish. I know he was dealing with the banged up calf, but I never heard him complain when Justin Fields was lighting it up. You did the right thing. He rehabbed it, came back, got his opportunity, and I'm with you. You got to give him credit for being a veteran. Could have been a big baby about it, but just wasn't, Jay Swish?
Yeah, at least not to the public eye, right? Like, I do think this guy, from all accounts, is kind of a little bit of a bird in terms of a pigeon. Now, I don't know him personally, but just even stories you hear from a guy like Marshawn Lynch, his former teammate, you would have to call his secretary or his assistant to get his cell phone number, and then Russell would call him back on a private line, star 69, where it would show up as a no caller ID number. So I don't know, anytime, you have a relationship like that with your running back, who is a Hall of Famer, and probably you won't be, is a little goofy to me. But you know what? I got to give him a couple clicks, even though I don't really like his game. So you know what? I guess here it is. Russell Wilson is my Dog of the Week, baby.
Shout out to Dogs of the Week, by the way. Sean Payton, Coach Payton, absolute beauty. 4-3. Don't want to jinx it. Did I even say it?
Scratching and clawing.
2 more. Let's go. Keep going, baby. Get this guy Labatt Blue. Presented by Labatt Blue Light, the pristine Pilsner. Enjoy your beers together so we can live life to the power of wheat. Always enjoy responsibly. Beer, Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All right, boys. I'm going to start dishing the Labatt Blues here.
Fire away, Obes.
Luke Schenn, 1,000 games in the National Hockey League. Luke Schenn, I got to know him a little bit throughout my playing career. Really nice guy, obviously. Good Saskatchewan boy. His brother, Braden Schenn, is one of your really good buddies up, dog. I got to be honest with you, though. If you would have asked me, I don't know, 10 years ago, or when he was maybe playing for the Leafs when he was younger, if you would have ever got to 1,000 games, I would have taken the under. Went to Tampa, was kind of a depth guy there, found his way, won a cup there, paid his dues. Now he's back with Nashville, went back to Toronto, had a pretty good playoff with them. Barry Trotz rewards him. So, up, dog, anytime you get 1,000 games, man, that's unbelievable. So, Luke Schenn, get yourself a Labatt Blue fella.
Yeah, Obes, well said. Listen, guy ended my career, legit. Last hit I ever took was from fucking
I thought
Luke
it was
Schenn.
fucking, what's
From
that?
Luke Schenn.
Down there?
Yeah. Fucking ruptured my kidney right in front of the fucking bench in Phoenix. But listen, had you asked Luke Schenn about 6 years ago when he was on the Iron Lung going down to San Diego from the Anaheim Ducks, if he was going to play 1,000 games, I bet you he told you he probably wouldn't play 600. So things turned for him. He signed Adam Oates. Oatesy changed the way he played, changed the way he handled the puck, how he hit guys, how he played positionally. I saw his old man when we were at the game in Vegas for my birthday, and his old man was like, I'm leaving here and I'm going to head to Nashville to see Luke for his 1,000th game. And he's like, he just gives so much credit to like his teammates, but to Oatsy and the way Oatsy changed his game. And it just says a lot. This isn't the first guy that's told me that Oatsy's he basically got them another contract, changed the way I skate or where I go on the ice or the curve I use. So man, Adam Oates, like, well done, because you helped Luke Schenn get to 1,000 games, and he's very thankful for it.
That's the secret. I shouldn't say Swish. I should have texted Oatsy for.
We should have. I'm telling you.
Number, right? Why did I get his number?
Yeah, listen, great team guy. I think, the game was catching up to him or maybe even passing him when he got sent down there. And I think, he had a little bit of cement boots. I think if you talk to Schenner, you would probably say, you know what, I'm not the fleetest of foot guy, but he got a little bit of those cement boots out of there and maybe threw on a pair of waders. And he's actually been a really reliable defenseman. And just credit to him, man, going down to the jungle, taking it on the chin, figuring out what he needs to do, revamping himself, kind of becoming a 2.0 version of himself, and ends up with a silver stick and a lot of good hockey still to play. And he's tough as hell, too. A lefty that can throw both. A good Sasky guy, like you mentioned, a great family. So, yeah, really cool to see. And just the joy that he has playing hockey, I think, is one of the things that really sticks out to me when I watch Luke Schenn play. So, yeah, kudos to him. And, he's, by all accounts, a great dude.
Yeah, it was like hitting a goddamn farm animal. That guy.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Is he a big boy?
But if you're a young defenseman, you keep it simple, be a good teammate, play hard. Look at that, you can play 1,000 games. Couple more for me, boys. Get this guy a Labatt Blue Light. Lucas DeStall, 2-1-1 for the Ducks. 931 save percentage, 2.48 goals against, 1 shutout. This guy can fucking kick, boys. Flat out, he can kick. I don't know what's going on with Gibby. I'm not going to speculate anymore that he's getting traded because he was supposed to be traded the last fucking 5 years. It's safe to say Gibby loves living here. I believe he's got 3 kids now, maybe 4. I know he's got 3. So I don't know what's going on with him. But this Dostal is a legitimate National League goaltender. Get yourself a blue light. And then last but not least, this team's been making me some money early in the season when I desperately fucking needed it because I put myself once again up in a big-time hole. The Winnipeg Jets, 5-0 to start the season. I've been riding them in their last 3 games. They're big. They got depth down the middle, size on the back end, and Hollaback between the pipes. Listen, they're legit, and I've been making some money. So boys in Winnipeg, throw it in the snowbank. Get yourself a blue light, fella.
Yeah, drink those before the dog days come because that's when the losses start to pile up. I'll throw it a couple here. We noticed Steven Stamkos from his honey hole getting his first as a Pred. They're still 0-5, as we mentioned earlier in the pod, but hopefully him getting hot and getting that power play going will change that. So get yourself a Labatt Blue Stammer. Philip Broberg, what a pickup. I thought the Oilers should have kept him. 6-game point streak to start the season for the Blues Obes. 1 goal, 5 assists, 6 points. Guy's like a perfect D-man for $4 million. I can't believe it. And then
your boy Army knew what he was doing.
And then one more. A kid who, although he got paid, boys, some of those young kids that get paid next year, what do? They just buy Ferraris and don't show up. Well, this is not the case. Sam Reinhart, 4 goals, 7 assists last week for the first player of the week. It's the player of the week nods, but 6 points out of 7 games. I just like what he's doing. He's getting on the score sheet, boys.
Yeah, boys, and I got one too over here. I'm going to save one of mine for the iciest shots of the night, but I wanted to give some love to a defenseman, a North Dakota product playing up there for Travis Green, your guys' boy in Ottawa to start the season. Jake Sanderson is playing over 25 minutes a night. He's got 1-5 in 6 games. Looks really good. Again, we chatted with Brady Tkachuk at the start of the season and a little bit into training camp there, and he just said he was raving about Sandy, how good he skates, how he's going to be one of the best defensemen in the league in the next coming years. And I think we're seeing a breakout season for Sanderson. I think he's kind of becoming that catalyst in terms of the back end, being that number 1 horse back there. So he looks great to start the season. I can't wait to see what he can do. Man, boys, he is so smooth out there. It's really fun to watch. He's a one-man breakout all day.
Yeah, and last but not least, shout out to Brandon Morrow. Mo, you absolute beauty. Listen, I battle against this guy a lot. Never fought him. One night I thought he was going to fight me. He didn't really want to fight me ever, have to fight me because he was playing more minutes than me. He was our captain. He was playing the power play. But listen, he's in the Dallas Stars Hall of Fame. He got inducted this inducted, is that the right word? Yeah.
Inductee, baby.
Inductee this week. And a big D. I'm sure the blue lights were flying. I've got to know him uppy since we retired. When I first walked up to him at Gaza Ranch or wherever, maybe it was in Austin, he was one of those guys that I chirped so much against, and he wasn't really a chirper. He just looked at you with those, like, I want to fucking kill you, kid. But I would chirp him and give it to him. I was like, you know what I mean? I didn't really want to go up to him right away, and I was like, hey, Mo, what's up, buddy? He's like, yeah. Anyways, we built a really good friendship. He's a great guy. He was a warrior on the ice, an updog. He deserves a blue light because he is a Hall of Famer for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, on and off the ice. You won't see him without a smile on his face now. And why wouldn't you? You know, you got a good family. You're living fucking at Gazer. You know, you're working for Discovery. You're playing golf. You're a +1. I mean, he hits them. He bombs it.
Yeah.
Great guy. So huge for him. I know he had all his buddies in town for that. Well done. I mean, it's just a nice place to just set up shop too, Dallas, right?
That's always a place I want.
They treat their alumni well there.
Yeah, it's always a place I want to play. So, BMO, congratulations, buddy. I'm sure you got some blue lights in you. We'll be right back. I'm Missin Curfew. Welcome back to Missin Curfew. It's milk carton time. Up dog, Mark Scheifele. Listen, this guy's absolutely lighting it up. I love his number in 55. I've heard nothing but great things about him. I just gave the Winnipeg Jets some love. But this guy's bucket, and Jay Swish, you were talking about it, the Warrior bucket with the tinted visor and the fucking ear guards. I mean, listen, man. Sorry, fella. Your helmet is on the milk carton. You're absolutely lighting it up. But Jay Swish, that thing, it's not National League, fella.
I mean, what is he making too now? Is he making about $8 million, I think, a year? Like, at that point, if you're going to go the welding shield, a Warrior bucket, and ear guards, I mean, I think it's got to start at 7 figures if I'm in that position to wear that, you know, concoction of a bucket, because that thing is an absolute space bucket on him. Oops, it's just like when you're that good too, you can't look like that nerdy on the ice. Like someone's got to say something like, "Hey, fella, like you got to change something up here." Like, because right now, if you're one of our better players and these guys on the other side are looking at you, it's like I don't know if you can look like that, man. Come on, like get some more swagger out here. You've been in the league 12 years? Come on, fella.
Yeah, the rest of his swag's solid. I like 55.
Yeah.
Right? Shot, his skates, his shin pad, tongue ratio looks good. Like he looks good out there. It's just I've been watching him the last couple of weeks. And you put the Warrior buckets on my radar. I was like, look at the size of that fucking moon bucket out there. And then they close up on him, tinted visor, ear guards. I'm like, that's not NHL. So, kid, keep lighting it up, and I'm throwing your bucket on the milk carton. And I'm not going to put this kid on the milk carton because I did it all last year in the playoffs, and he's rich, and, you know, I've never met a bad Swedish guy. But EP for you, Pettersson from the Vancouver Canucks, since he signed that for 92 bananas, boys, and he had a horseshit playoff. Listen to these numbers. 37 games played, 6 goals, 21 points. That's just not going to cut it. I'm not going to officially put him on the milk carton up dog because, like I said, I've been picking on him. But, man, that is just running to the bank and just being like, you know, I don't know. I don't give a fuck. But hopefully he gets going. Maybe this will get him going.
Yeah, two big ones. I'm going to fire on, this is a late edition milk carton, but, geez, we read it before the show started today. But Connor Bedard, 2 goals in his last 25 games?
2 goals in his last 20.
20.
Yeah.
Come on. Need you to pick it up again. I know Obes had you under 25 last year and you helped them make some money, but I want to see you step it up. Chicago, it's a great town when you get that team buzzing. They need him to get going. And what better than a little milk carton bump for the kid? So, fella, come on out there and go start sniping again.
Yeah, boys, my milk carton, and I actually know this kid. He's a good dude. He played with my brother for 4 or 5 years here in the desert. And I came, to be good buddies with him in terms of hanging out a little bit in Scottsdale here. You know, a couple concerts I've been to with this kid. Jacob Chikrin, okay, listen. He's a good dude. I like his style, but I got to put him on the milk carton. He's going out for a no bucket warm-up the other day, which looked pretty crispy. I'm not going to lie. He had the flow going. But the one thing he had on his head was this, like, old little tiny headband like chicks that play soccer, where it was kind of just like, buddy, like, if you're going to go out for a no bucket National League warm-up, I would even say throw on the NBA headband at this point, because you can't go out there looking like that. And, you know, it just didn't look National League, Obi. Like, again, he's a good kid. I normally like his style, especially off the ice. But you go on the ice, especially no bucket warm up, you can't have that thing greased back with the LA looks in there and then throw on that little headband. Like, let her flow. Let her buck Diddy in the wind. Like, come on, kid. Yeah,
I did see that. And by the way, that whole clip of OV and the whole Washington Capitals, Uppy, you've talked about this for how many ever years we've been doing this. Do you miss the game? I miss that. I missed before the game. Fucking, oh boy, up dog. Come on, Jay Swiss. Let's stop around. Here we fucking go, boys. Ovi was having a time. Willie asked him, how many of those things you got at home? Jay Swiss, it's funny you say that. I knew you were putting them on the milk carton. Got home last night to my beautiful girl, Mac Miller, and she had the exact same style of headband, which, by the way, I think she looks smoking when she wears it. I asked her to wear it more. She had the exact same headband that Jacob Chikrin had on. I'm like, babe, Jay Swiss is throwing a guy on the milk carton for just wearing that exact thing. So, hey, you're right. It's something a chick would wear, fella.
Yeah, like when the chicks wear it OB2, not to get too in depth about it, but like when it looks good, that slick back look, they have that nice, clean little headband, and then maybe a high pony to go with it. Now, Chikrin is a dude, obviously. High pony, like you can't teach that swag, so we know what that's for. But you go back to Chicky, like just maybe lose that and let her buck a little bit. I know it might be in your face a little bit, get in your eyes, but that's when you get that sick picture in warm-ups with you leaning into one, and the flow is a little bit over your eye. Now you can throw that on your Instagram, and who knows what happens. So I just have to give, just got to keep him honest. He's having a good start to the season there, but Chicky, you're on the milk carton, fella.
That's just honesty here, right? It's constructive criticism, as we would say, but you got good flow. You can chirp guys about flow. So the milk carton, keeping the boys honest. Up dog, it's the Jäger iciest shot of the night, fella.
Presented by Jägermeister. Best served, fellas, at 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Damn, that's cold. Check Jägermeister out at www.draftkingsxjagermeister.com. Fella. Jeez,
we had a few.
We sure did.
Here we go.
Reminds me that I haven't got off the train yet.
Don't stop. You're going to be hungover. It's not going to be today. My Jäger iciest shot of the night is Jordan Eberle. Woo. Thank God. Sorry, Weegsy, baby. But you guys started 4-0. I was on the road with Princey. I had to take the Kraken. I had to, just to keep Mark Prince honest. And once again, the Flames played unbelievable. Took him to OT. My boy Monty Kid fella in front of the net. Makes a hell of a play. Gets it back. Gives it to Eberle. Short side spink dink. Corn dogs. Winner O'Brien. Suck it, Princey. That's the Jäger iciest shot of the night.
There you go, fella. What do you got over there, Schmaltz?
Yeah, boys, my iciest shot of the night goes to a kid that's absolutely hotter than a pistol right now, hotter than Death Valley in July, as I would say. 6 tucks in his first 6 games, an early candidate for Jay Swish's Cy Young Award winner in terms of having 6 goals, 1 assist. And the other night, he was playing in Long Island. He was playing against the Islanders, and he got a shot off the faceoff. It initially got blocked by Ryan Pulak, and it kind of came back to him like a little bit of a bank pass back. He gets it in the rock star zone, Cole Caulfield, and throws a short side titty snipe over the netminder there. It was unbelievable, boys. He was right on the goal line, short side, posting in, hey, how are you? So that was a hell of a shot, probably the best shot I've seen in the National League this year. So a couple clicks to Cole Caulfield, the pride of Stevens Point.
That's a Jäger iciest shot of the night. Jay Swish, it is rumor mill time here at Missin Curfew. And who better than the People's Insider?
Yeah, and listen, boys, like I had a couple things I wanted to bring to you, and one involves a player and one involves maybe a coach. And let's start off with the player in terms of what I've been kind of hearing in and around the National Hockey League, and that is one player of 745 NHL games, 2-time Stanley Cup winner, Justin Schultz. Now, things could change, and things can change quickly. Maybe he gets a deal over here stateside, which I do think he deserves to be in the National Hockey League. He had about 30 points last year, I think just shy of that with the Seattle Kraken. But I'm hearing the 34-year-old veteran out of Kelowna, British Columbia, is starting to shop around Europe and maybe even the Swiss League, the old Fondue League, boys. Now, nothing is for certain yet in terms of signing a deal, but let's just say he could end up somewhere north of Lake Como by the end of the week. Now, again, things can change. NHL GMs could pick up the phone and say, hey, there's an injury today. We need Schultz in the lineup as a right shot defenseman that can run at least a power play number 2 and a guy that's won 2 times. But that is what I'm hearing around the rumor mill in terms of, I don't know. It just seems like that guy could still play and help a blue line. Don't you guys think? Like he can still move. He can dish a puck, middle pop, OB. He doesn't, go glassing out like we don't like back there. Like it just seems odd that guy couldn't get a veteran minimum deal at, $750 or whatever it is.
Yeah, right-handed D-man,
50.
Stanley Cup champion, play the power play, probably penalty kill for you. Yeah, I don't know why his team wouldn't be just adding that depth.
It's funny you ask. It's funny you say this rumor mill, though. I do know a few GMs. I do know a few GMs over there north of Lugano, in Lugano and just north of there where I played, that were interested in a defenseman to start the season off. I may or may not have got a couple calls on do I have anyone. So I'm happy for this kid. If he goes over there, it's a beautiful part of the world, as my friend here, O'Brien, would say, postcard. Everywhere you go, postcard. And it sure is. And it's a great time. But you're right. If an NHL team wants him, Schmaltzy, I think he's probably in shape, ready to snap some, put it on the tape. Not many D are putting those on the tape, right where you.
Oh, yeah, finding the honey hole. And I mean, listen, you go over there and you make a decent sheet. You're drinking Aperol Spritz, it's fondue, it's St. Moritz, it's Zermatt. It's a good league over there, but it ain't the National League, boys. And one thing I wanted to bring to your attention, too, was another thing I had in the rumor mill. Now, listen, this guy got reinstated, I believe, in July. His counterpart at one point in Chicago is back in the league in Stan Bowman. Now, do we see Joel Quenneville behind a bench before the calendar strikes 2025? Is that something you could see Q back in the mix, or is the league just cooked with him and nobody wants to take a chance on him, obviously, for what kind of he was involved with, years back?
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way with Coach Q, who, by the way, I played against him when he was in Chicago, and they always fucking owned us in the playoffs, and obviously 3 cups, and Sheldon Brookbank played for him and absolutely loves him, and if Bill Brookbank loves him, I love him. For me, I don't think he should get back behind the bench anyways, right? He's a little bit longer in the tooth now, but I think he deserves a nice front office job. Sit beside the GM. I don't know if he wants to be a GM someday or not, but for me, Jay Swish, I just don't know if it's worth it for him to get back behind the bench, the grind of what it takes to be a National Hockey League coach. But I would love to see him front office, making hockey decisions, because when you're a 3-time Stanley Cup champ like Joel Quenneville, you deserve that, and an organization should be lucky to have him, Jay Swish.
Yeah, I think so. And you make a good point there, Obi, in terms of just getting involved and being a part of a brass and maybe being more hands-off on the day-to-day operations side of things and, kind of running a managerial side of the business and helping out with that. I know, organizations like St. Louis would always bring in legends to help Doug Armstrong in terms of make decisions. He always surrounded himself with big-time hockey guys and that had their credentials because, I think he realized that you need a lot of different eyes and guys that, you can trust and played a long time. So maybe he slides into a role like that, but I do know that Q does want to coach, so we'll see where it goes, man.
If he wants to coach, he deserves it, Updog. But I'll tell you what, we were just giving out blue lights. I'd love to have 24 blue lights.
I had some whiskey with him.
Or that.
At Chaser's event in a casino, and it was great. And then I played cards beside him, and he still loves the game.
Smoking a cigar. Seems like a cigar guy. He's got it.
No, he weren't smoking cigars there. Although for sure with that,
he would love it.
Of course he's smoking cigars.
Yeah.
But no, he definitely loved an old-fashioned or two, and he liked to throw the cards around with me, so it was great. And just, I always remember, as you just said, them kicking your ass, but always looking over, and that white mustache with that kind of smirk on his face, and you knew that the players just respected him so much, and he was, he's up there top 5 all-time winningest coaches, and now with 3 cups, he basically built a dynasty in Chicago and helped build it. So I'd like to see him back in the game. Hockey's better with guys like that in it, and, if he does, it's going to be somewhere strategic. It's not just going to be placed and coaching anywhere. He's going to take a job if the right one comes up.
Yeah, well said. I think if he wants to coach, get back behind the bench, absolute beauty. I'd love to fucking sit down and have a little whiskey with him, but it's back up the brakes, Chuck. Beep, 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 beep. Back her up. Dog. But you might have broke this news last week on Missin Curfew. I don't even know if the fucking ink had dried in the paper yet, but Jake Oettinger, 8 years, 66 bananas, 8.25. Listen, we all know what's going on with Shesterkin right now. He was asking for fucking north of 11. I love this Oettinger kid. Obviously, he's went to Western Conference Finals last year. Deserves this money. I think this kid, Jay Swiss, will go with you. You're an American-born player. I think this guy's as good as anybody in the league. Top 10 goalie, maybe even top 5 in the league. I think this is a good deal for both sides.
Yeah, I think so. The Minnesota product obviously probably looked at what Swayman got in terms of kind of having a similar sample size, probably a little bit more body of work to back it up, and gives Jimmy Neal a call and says, hey, fella, I'm going to take 8 times 8.25. It's kind of funny how Swayman set the market that way. You even saw a guy a little bit older in Linus Ullmark get the same sheet in terms of 8.25. He got it over 4 years. So, yeah, I think in terms of the going rate and what these guys are getting locked up for, Obi, it's a nice move. Obviously, I think at the end of the day, having a goaltender is going to what separates you from winning a Stanley Cup. So that's the going rate. You get a guy under $10 million, lock him up for 8 years. Salary cap will continue to climb, and hopefully at the end of the day, in 3 or 4 years, it looks like a steal for the Dallas Stars.
No taxes.
Yeah, no, it's a great deal for him. Great deal for him. Great deal for Dallas. And I think you're right, Swish. As this salary cap continues to go up, halfway through this deal, year 4, maybe 5 into it, it might be a steal for the Dallas Stars. So good on them. Take the boys out for a nice dinner there, Otter. Dust off the Amex. Kid I absolutely love, Jake Neighbors. 2 years, 7.5, 3.75 a year. Updog, your type of player. Yeah. Gritty as fuck. He's played well for the Blues early on. I'm glad guys like this get rewarded, so good for him. Take a little breather now, right? 2 years, 7.5.
Western Leaguer.
Let's
want to go home. That money goes a long way in Alberta. Total. I mean, it goes a long way.
Long way in St. Louis.
But by the way, just a good, like, 150-foot player. How long's the range?
200, fella.
Hey, he's just a good player. He plays hard up and down. He goes to the net. He gets, he's a guy like, as you often say, Mitch Marner, watch guys like him go to the net. He just doesn't give a fuck. He gets his face in there. He goes hard. He's been rewarded. He had a good season last year, but pretty good stats that he's going to build on. And the St. Louis Blues are off to a great start. So lock up some of these.
You know how long the ice is because Hitchcock would go up, hit that thing 200 fucking feet, you dummy. You don't remember him saying, you don't get the puck 200 feet. You're not fucking playing the rest of the night.
I only played 150, but I didn't go back to my own net. Are you nuts? I was just looking after my point.
Jake Neighbors right now, Jay Swiss, he's playing with Buchnevich, which is a nice opportunity for him as well, fella.
Yeah, 27 goals last year. He had 11 assists to go with that. And I just think it's a credit to both sides. Now, Neighbors probably could have been, maybe sniffing around for an 8-year deal saying, hey, why not me? Everyone else in this situation, they have one pop-off year and they get paid. But Dougie Armstrong, an old school guy, says, let's just go 2 years with this thing. Let's revisit at that time in terms of, 2026, 27. So I think it's a great deal for both sides. It gets Neighbors some dough right up front for the next 2 years, kind of kick it down in terms of the road to evaluate it at a later time to maybe get them, a 6, 7, 8-year deal. And, it works out for both sides. So I just think Armstrong has a way of just kind of keeping to this old school roots, not, necessarily giving guys too much cash up front that are ultimately, I would say a middle six player.
Yeah, Army's great. I mean, he continues to prove me wrong. Not that I doubted him that much, but like the Broberg and Holloway offer sheet, I've been in a desperate situation sometimes. It sounded desperate. I was like, this stinks of desperation a little bit there, Army. Like, but I'll tell you what, one kid I like on this team is this Texera kid. Is that how you say it, number 9? I like
Texera, yeah.
Competes, like fourth liner. Fasco was a nice pickup from Dallas. Obviously, Schenner. I was hard on this team in our pre-scout or our preview of the season. Matt Joseph, a guy who's a Burnster who can absolutely fly. Listen, Army knows what he's doing.
Yeah, the Joseph brothers are there. Yeah, no, they're good players. Walker's a good Aussie. He battles hard and he's a great, effective fourth line player. They're deep, they're big, but they're missing Krug, so they're going to have a guy like Broger have to step up and play.
Sutsi's there too.
Yeah, Ryan Suits.
Yeah, that was a great little sneaky pickup. Just veteran. Sutsy, you play the right amount of minutes. Good first pass. Jay Swiss, Sutsy has a great first pass. You play him 15 minutes a night. Like last year in Dallas, especially in the playoffs, as next teammate, he was just playing way too many minutes.
Yeah, and especially he got kind of worn out in terms of as the season went on. They played a long time in the playoffs, and he's an older fella now, too. He came in off that ankle surgery a few years back. Now, he still skates pretty good for his age, but if you can manage his minutes, Opes, and play him, like you said, 13 to 15 a night, play him on that third pair, but kind of use him maybe as a sneaky 5, or I think he could move up to a 4. That's a hell of a pickup. And the one thing about Sutsy is, man, he's sneaky dirty. Just the little hacks he throws, the cross checks. He just knows where to hit you. And it's one of those guys that's just a cagey veteran and a great guy to have in your room in terms of showing up every day of the week.
I played with Sutsy in Nashville, and there couldn't be two more different guys at that time of our life. Like, we couldn't have been different people. Me and Ryan Suter couldn't be any different, right? I was going out every single night. He was trying to have 9 kids at home. But I loved to see him at the rink. He was just, he brought an energy that was kind of, not excited, but like kind of, always in a grumpy mood, but you could chirp him, and such a great player. How easy he made the game play. But I remember after he signed that $100 million, was it $100 million he got in Minnesota? It was, right?
Yep.
First time I played against the XL Energy Center, I was like, Sutsy's like, what's up? I'm like, you got a $100 bill falling out of your pants there. You got $100 bill hanging out of your pants there, but man, longevity, lives on the farm. I did a show with him a couple years ago on Steve Cool's NHL Network, has a bunch of kids. No wonder he's still playing, right?
Yeah,
he lives on the farm, all these kids.
He doesn't want to go home.
I
hear you.
Last but not least, around the National League, greatest league in the world, as we all know. Just a question for you two beauties. Obviously, we know Stammer met on to Nashville. I believe they're winning right now, 1-0 up. Doug's got the frenzy on, which I want to ask you about next. But Kucherov, can he get 50 goals for the first time in his career? Up, we'll start with you, buddy. You were a 20-goal scorer. Don't forget it out there, bud. But he's had 40 to 30 times. Obviously been dishing to Stammer for the last fucking decade or whatever it's been. Now that he doesn't have to worry about Stammer getting his touches, which you want to get Stammer the biscuit. Gunsel playing with Point. Like, this seems to be the year that he's going to get 50. Like, if I can go on DraftKings right now and bet it, Kyle, I don't know if you can look that up. What is it for Kucherov to get 50? I like it, buddy.
No, you're not wrong, Obes. Listen, Ovechkin, Stammer, that's their honey pot. That's their honey hole. When they're there, you got to know where they are. But Kucherov, if you just watch how he plays on the ice, on the half wall, down low, this guy's creating, he's stick handling a phone booth while dialing out. This guy's absolutely buttery. And for me, now he's maybe focused on, listen, he puts a season together last year, 100 assists, his 45 points more than the next guy on his team. They still make the playoffs. He doesn't win the Hart Trophy. Maybe now he's like, you know what? Let me show this fucking league how many goals I can score when I step on it. He puts himself in spots to shoot all the time. I still think he takes those shots. I don't think he's always looking to dish. I think he's so well-rounded of a player that he makes the right play most of the time. So listen, but he's probably a little bit on a fuck you mission. Yeah. I would be, at least. And I see him, Obes, it's a great point. I see him coming out and saying, you know, this is my year. Let me go score 50. Let me help my team get in the playoffs again, and who knows what happens.
Yeah, and you boys, I think a sneaky underrated thing about it, not only is Guentzel a hell of a finisher, he's a great disher too. Now, not that Stamkos wasn't, but Guentzel's a guy that can really get the puck, especially through the stick and the body on a 2-on-1, find those little seams, looking at toe caps, getting it in and around that triangle area where he can find Kucherov to shoot the puck. Now, he's obviously a pass-first guy just because he's a magician on that wall. I mean, that guy, the way he can work a half wall is probably arguably the greatest of all time. So 44 tucks last year, 100 apples. Obi, I'm taking the over on that. I think he can hit 50 if he wants it, and I think he, at least early, wants it. He has 7 goals in 6 games, and this is a guy, I mean, just his numbers are just crazy. Like, if he was in a market like Toronto or, you know, an original 6 franchise New York, it would be talked about way more to the general public. But, yeah, just a guy that is arguably, you know, one of my favorite players in the league to watch. So, yeah, I think I'm taking the over on that in terms of 50 tucks this year.
I'm with you, Uppy. It's like these superstar guys, and Swish talks about his numbers. His numbers are ridiculous, but it's never had 50, right? He wants that little feather in his fucking career stats, and hey, 50 goals scored.
Totally.
And you talk about another guy that just looks grumpy all the time, right? Anytime I turn on a Lightning game and he's out there for warm-up, he looks crusty, like hung cheese from the night before or something. And he just goes out there, has it on an absolute string. But the Tampa Bay Lightning in general, say what you want about Jillian Brisebois, and we all know the whole Stammer situation that went on and this and that. This team ain't going anywhere. And Connor Geekie is a kid that I absolutely fucking love. I watched him play World Juniors. Coop picked him to make the team. He's playing on the second line right now with Sorelli and Hagel. Just had his first NHL point that we saw in the Frozen Frenzy. But this team ain't going anywhere. Coop will have them right back in the playoffs up there.
No, they make great decisions, and they're winners there. I mean, they just went into New Jersey tonight and kicked the shit out of them. So that's a big win for them.
Last but not least, boys, Updog's got it on here, the Frozen Friendly. Jay Swish, you had kind of a little, you know, thought on it or idea. What's your feeling on the ESPN Frozen Frenzy, fella?
Yeah, I mean, as we were waiting for the ice to freeze in terms of getting this Zoom call dialed in, we were talking about the Frozen Frenzy and just, you know, how it could look a little bit different. Maybe it's not on opening night of the NBA. Maybe there's a holiday we could pick it where we could roll out all these games and stagger the starts even more. Maybe we start these games at, say, 10 a.m. Eastern, and we roll it out till maybe midnight even Eastern. And there's some outdoor games. There's some indoor games. We got a pool and a pond. The pond will be good for you. And maybe it's on a day like the Winter Classic. Maybe it's on the 1st of January, and we roll out those games. Obi, you had a great point. It might, you know, come down to, in terms of some college football bowls, be on the same day. But if you made a day just dedicated to hockey, like it's in the NBA with Christmas Day in the NBA, I think it would be really cool, and there would be more eyes gravitated towards it. So I don't know. It was just a thought, and the 1st of January was just one day that came to mind because it is the Winter Classic. This is hockey. It's more, you know, a snow vibe and kind of middle of the season. So I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on maybe how you could do this just a little bit better and ultimately get more eyes on the game of hockey.
Yeah, I'm with you. The thing they would say, and we talked about this earlier, Updog, was there is some college bowl games on New Year's Day, Rose Bowl, I think, or whatever, a couple of the big ones. But hockey fans will still tune into it. I'm with you. If there's hockey all day New Year's Day, I'm not leaving the couch ever. Obviously, Thanksgiving Day down here, you can't compete with that because there's like 3 football games. I'm okay with New Year's Day. I know the Winter Classic falls on that day. I've been begging them to switch the Winter Classic around a little bit. I like the idea of the Frozen Frenzy. Bucci's looking sharp. I think it could be tinkered.
Yeah, but the college football's done in January. I think, you know, hockey's going till mid-April. You know, they should back it back. But to touch on it, it should be a weekend. It should be a holiday Monday if that falls, like a little, you know, where you get to drink a little extra sauce on the Monday. But I think it's just there's so much opportunity to do exactly what you said, Schwishy. Every 45 minutes, there's a new puck drop, or every every half hour. There's games in the morning. There's games in the afternoon like football. And then there's 2 big boys, 3 big boys at night. I think that's a great opportunity, and we should own that. We should come in and say, fuck that. We're going to come and compete for those all-day fucking television watching events, because it's competing with these Goliaths of the sports, and they all do it. The basketball will do it. Fucking baseball does it all, the whole season long. And then obviously NFL and college are the best at it, but give us those days towards the end of the season where everyone's just excited about hockey, and it's a time of year where people are fighting for playoff spots. Everyone's involved. There's you're highlighting players chase for, Art Ross trophies and whatnot. I think just later in the year, it could still work. I think.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea. I do know one thing though. We've missed the whole goddamn we missed the whole Frozen Frenzy. We missed every game almost. So Jay Smith, buddy, thank you so much for being a team guy, buddy. It was unbelievable getting on the road with you. Up dog. Sorry you missed Izzy's soccer game, buddy.
That's okay,
We'll
buddy.
make it up to you. Kyle, Max, way to hang tight. That was Missin Curfew. Fellas.